Now, it's tough to deny that 2025 has been a bit tricky of a year for Xbox, between mass layoffs, major project cancellations, and of course, those pretty unfortunate Xbox Game Pass price hikes. But the future is still rife with potential for Xbox, and the next 12 months in particular look set to deliver a bevy of quality titles of all shapes and sizes. And so, as voted for by the FGS team, these are the 10 which you should be most mindful of throughout 2026, the ones that are most likely to deliver maximum bang for your buck and perhaps even enter the Game of the Year conversation. And so the countdown begins with an emphasis on platform exclusives that you can only play on Xbox consoles and PC, and of course all of which will be available day one on Game Pass. While release dates have a tendency to shift as ever, from the intel on the ground that we've got so far, the prospect of these games landing within the next year is looking pretty damn good. Oh, and by the way, there's no GTA 6, COD or EAFC entries here because come on, that's just too bloody obvious. And so with this in mind, I'm Jules, this is FGS, and these are the 10 most anticipated Xbox games of 2026. Number 10, OD. OD is one of the most fascinatingly enigmatic games in development right now for any platform. A horror game from the genius duo of Hideo Kojima and Get Out filmmaker Jordan Peele. Hollywood talents Sophia Lillis, Hunter Schafer, and Udo Kier will star in the game, said to test the player's fear threshold, and which Kojima has boldly called a totally new form of media. OD is believed to incorporate cloud technology in some form, and Kojima recently suggested it will actually be an anthology of horror segments, each of them directed by various creators such as himself and Peele. Now, while some are skeptical about OD actually being a real game at all, the recently released teaser trailer seemingly put that to bed, boasting some of the most satisfyingly lifelike visuals that we've ever seen, courtesy of Unreal Engine 5. Kojima also recently stated his belief that the game will heavily divide players, and that it could even take 20 years before some sort of major consensus on OD is formed. Never change, Hideo, never bloody change. OD is expected to release in 2026 and launch day one on Xbox Game Pass. Number 9, Ark 2. Now, in fairness, there's absolutely no guarantee that Ark 2 will launch in 2026 or really any other year, honestly. The long-awaited sequel to hit survival game Ark Survival Evolved was first announced at the 2020 Game Awards, with Vin Diesel and Moana's Auli E. Carvalho confirmed to star. The sequel missed its planned 2023 launch and also missed an expected bow in late 2024, since which Studio Wildcard has offered few substantial updates. All the same, there's no denying that the popularity of the original game makes Ark 2 one of the buzziest sequels in development right now. The developer has also intriguingly suggested a major overhaul to the combat system, with a new emphasis on dodges, blocks, combos, and reflexes, and it's said to take heavy inspiration from the Dark Souls games. And as Ark 2 is being made in Unreal Engine 5, it's going to be one hell of a looker. Hey guys, it's time to talk about today's video sponsor. No one, actually. It's just us at the FGS channel here. Just asking you to take some time out of your day to subscribe to this wonderful channel. And I'm also just going to say, now we can all just laugh at the people who skipped forward a couple of minutes there because they thought I was going to do an actual ad read, and there isn't one. So yeah, they've just now come back to find me making fun of them. Enjoy that. Bonus content. There's more of that if you subscribe. Number 8, Super Meat Boy 3D. Here's a game that just about nobody saw coming until the very moment it was announced, a 3D reimagining of generational platforming masterpiece Super Meat Boy. While it's easy to scoff at the idea of reworking Super Meat Boy's basically flawless 2D aesthetic and gameplay, Sluggerfly has worked closely with original developer Team Meat to fashion this radical new take on the iconic franchise. Though Super Meat Boy 3D introduces horizontal wall running and a mid-air dash ability, Sluggerfly insists that the difficulty level will satisfy fans of the original, and that the initial accessibility swiftly gives way to the challenge that players expect. From the little that we've seen so far, it frankly looks like a brilliantly inspired revision of a foundational title in the indie game revolution of the 2010s, offering a same but different experience that's sure to leave us all totally pissed off and yet impossibly addicted. Number 7, Subnautica 2. Subnautica remains one of the most mesmerizingly atmospheric open-world games of the past decade, and so its long-awaited sequel cannot come soon enough. Subnautica 2 takes place on a new planet, and for the first time in the series will allow up to 4 players to play together cooperatively. While the solitary nature of the original game was instrumental in establishing its eerie vibe, being able to explore the terrifying ocean deep with a few pals is a pretty tough prospect to resist. Developer Unknown Worlds Entertainment has promised a diverse array of new flora and fauna throughout the new planet, and also the ability to modify your own DNA to manifest abilities, a feature that was actually cut from the original game. While it's probably sensible to be a little wary of the early early access launch, especially considering the staff firings and lawsuits which have recently taken place at Unknown Worlds, there's still plenty good reason to believe that Subnautica 2 will live up to its enormous potential. Number 6. High on Life 2. 2022's comedic sci-fi FPS High on Life wasn't for all tastes, but for those who vibed with its Rick and Morty-inspired sense of humor, it was a riotously irreverent romp. This time around, our bounty hunter protagonist's sister has a bounty placed on her, forcing you to both keep her safe from impending assailants and figure out who put out the hit in the first place. From the plentiful footage that we've seen so far, High on Life 2 more or less looks like the first game on steroids in that it's funnier, more rude, and definitely weirder. One key new gameplay mechanic is skateboarding, allowing you to grind and wall run your way around the game map and even use it as a face-smashing weapon. Many of the chatty fan favourite weapons from the first game will be returning, namely Knifey, but we also get a few new ones, including Sheath, a rifle voiced by the inimitably gravelly Ralph Ineson.
Ah, yes, good guys, mercenaries. Bring it on! We shall grant you death too.
High on Life 2 probably won't win over many who didn't dig the first game, but for those who did, it looks set to be bigger, better, stranger, and a more ambitious sequel.
Yeah, humans are barely sentient. Scientists have done studies, and their brains are like half the size of ours.
Number 5. Replaced. One of the most buzzed about indie games of recent years, Replaced is an astonishing looking cyberpunk-styled action platformer and the debut project from Sad Cat Studios. First announced at E3 2021 and originally set to release in 2022, the game has suffered numerous delays due to the impact of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, though development is now reportedly on track for release next year. Replaced is set in a dystopian alt-universe 1980s America, where players control an AI unwillingly trapped in a human body as they navigate the unforgiving metropolis that is Phoenix City. Gameplay is centered around exploration, puzzle solving, platforming, and combat, with one of the most stunning renditions of a 2.5D pixel art aesthetic perhaps ever seen. The art direction clearly pays unapologetic homage to Blade Runner, but also seems to be bringing enough of its own distinct gritty flavor to the table. Put your money on the line now. If this is as good as it looks, it could well be a surprise Game of the Year contender in 2026. And you know what? Here's hoping. Number 4. Clockwork Revolution. Clockwork Revolution is a first-person action RPG from Wasteland developers In Exile Entertainment, and it looks positively bonkers. Players will control customizable protagonist Morgan Vanette, who discovers that their home city of Avalon has been meticulously altered by the mysterious Lady Ironwood, who has used time travel to amass enormous wealth and power. However, once Morgan discovers their own means of traveling into the past, they realize their potential to set things right and undo Ironwood's tyrannical rule. Now that is one hell of a neat hook, and indeed, Clockwork Revolution's gameplay will revolve around traveling back in time, making crucial decisions, and then returning to see how they've affected your present. The potential of such a gameplay loop speaks for itself, to say nothing of the game's utterly gorgeous steampunk aesthetic, deeply kooky tone, and general array of colourful characters. For anyone lamenting the lack of any new Dishonored or Bioshock games right now, this looks like a zany amalgam of both of them, while also clearly bringing plenty of its own moxie and panache to the fore. Number 3. Forza Horizon 6. Forza Horizon has pulled out in pole position as arguably the single greatest arcade racing franchise ever made, with each installment to date impressively building on what came before. Now, it was just a matter of when, not if, for Forza Horizon 6 then to finally take players to a country that fans have been doggedly demanding for years, that being Japan. With its primary setting of Tokyo, players will be able to visit the nation's iconic locations such as Mount Fuji and Hokkaido, in what Playground Games have dubbed the series' largest and most complex map to date. Forza Horizon 5 sets such an immaculate template for the series moving forward that if Playground can simply transplant it to a new setting and deliver a few quality of life changes, this could be a generational racing title. And even if it's not, it's almost certainly going to be a ludicrous amount of fun, whether you're cruising solo or taking the vehicular chaos online. Number 2. Gears of War E-Day. More than 6 years after the release of Gears 5, the franchise is finally set to return with a new installment which goes back to the very beginning. Gears of War E-Day is a prequel set 14 years before the original game, focusing on all-timer bros Marcus Phoenix and Dom Santiago as they battle the Locust Horde on Emergence Day. E-Day is such a fabled event in the series' lore that it's honestly surprising that we haven't fully gone there yet. The potential of giving players hands-on with E-Day and further bolstering the bromance between Marcus and Dom just speaks for itself, while taking full advantage of how much gaming tech has moved forward over the last 2 decades since the original original game. Refreshingly though, E-Day will take place in the entirely new city of Kelowna, and unlike Gears 5's rather divisive semi-open world hubs, it will be back to the series' linear best. Elsewhere, co-developer The Coalition has promised that the game will return to the series' earlier emphasis on horror, and because fan service always wins out, it'll also offer up an origin story for Gears' iconic Lancer assault rifle, because why the hell not? With the series having spent such a surprising amount of time on the bench, it will just be a blast to see it back at what will hopefully be its face-melting peak. And number 1, Fable. The Fable franchise has been gone for way too damn long. The last major entry into the beloved RPG series was Fable 3 way back in 2010, but in 2026, it's finally making an epic AAA comeback. Forza Horizon's Playground Games are developing this franchise reboot, which plans to retain the original trilogy's sense of wonder and whimsy while updating the gameplay and visuals for modern audiences. And boy howdy does it look like it's sure taking full advantage of Forza's bespoke Forza tech engine to deliver a startlingly photorealistic aesthetic, even within the trappings of a fantastical RPG. We still don't know a whole lot about Fable, but the footage released so far confirms that it won't be taking itself one iota too seriously. And if there's somehow any lingering doubt, legendary British comedians Richard Ayoade and Matt King will play prominent characters in this story. It's clear beyond any doubt that Microsoft is giving Fable everything they've got, and hopefully it'll result in a triumph resurrection for a series that's never quite realised its full potential. And there we go, my friends, those were the 10 most anticipated Xbox games of 2026. Hope you enjoyed that, and let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. Which of these games are you going to be the most hyped about, and is there any that I've missed off of this? Let me know down in the comment sections. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. Hope that you're treating yourself well, my friend, with the love and respect that you deserve, because you are the bloody best, alright? And do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise. You are a massive ledge. Now go out there and smash it. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.